Welcome to another Headstrong video. I'm Shane Foster, your product specialist manager. And today we have a special treat for you because I have not just one of my dearest friends here at Team Wendy, my coworker, but one of, in my opinion, one of the greatest brains in all of Team Wendy. A lot of the great products that you've seen through the years has been a direct involvement with this guy. So if you don't mind, Bryan, would you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do here at Team Wendy and how many years you've been here in your history?
Yeah, thanks, Shane. I appreciate the glowing introduction. I'm Bryan Javorek. I've been here at Team Wendy for 15 years, most of that in the product design side of the business. I was the brains behind the cam fit retention system and many of the liner systems installed in the Team Wendy helmets that you guys know.
So Bryan, with that, there's been some big projects through the years specifically. I know the LTP and the non-ballistic line, and I know you don't like to necessarily brag on yourself, but I like to brag on you in the fact that I know you, but you were directly involved in a lot of the early pad systems, which we're known for, which is ZORBIUM. So if you don't mind, go into detail on the history of ZORBIUM, where that came from and your involvement.
Absolutely. ZORBIUM is really how Team Wendy started, and it's still at the heart of the products today. So ZORBIUM is our trademark's name for a polyurethane foam. We developed it here. Our chemistry team in Cleveland designed it, and it's our way of creating our own material that we have complete control over the properties. This goes all the way back to the early 2000s when the US Army was making a big push to increase protection against blunt impact. At the time, soldiers were fighting in the Middle East and coming back with traumatic brain injuries. One of the root causes was linked to blunt impact. This is not a ballistic event necessarily, but it could be striking your head against an object or the ground or another soldier or some sort of event that would put energy into your brain. The helmets at the time were not well designed to protect against those types of injuries. So ZORBIUM foam was part of Team Wendy's story. It was originally used in ski helmets, became the best performing material in the new advanced combat helmet product description published by the US Army. So we have been the sole supplier of ZORBIUM foam ever since 2005 to the US DoD. So what's exciting to me about ZORBIUM is that it's not an off-the-shelf material that can be used by anyone. It's something that we've designed ourselves at Team Wendy, and we have control over it. We pour the ZORBIUM foam here in our facility in Cleveland and make it into the pads. And if we need the performance to be adjusted for a particular application, we can do that. And the way the ingredients work, we can change the stiffness of the material without making it heavier, which is a major improvement upon a lot of materials used, such as EPS or EPP, where the only way to make it stiffer is to pack more of that material into the helmet. So we have a lightweight, high performance, tunable material that we can use in each of our helmets.
You know, what's really interesting about that is if you look at NASCAR and Formula One and all of these racing organizations, a lot of them have the exact same engine in every car, but it's what they can extract out of that engine. It's how they can manipulate that engine, how they can tune the engine, if you will, that makes it perform better. And ultimately, that's what we're doing. We're taking a very high performance foam and tuning it to give you, me, and others the absolute best opportunity to mitigate injury and traumatic brain injury at that, which is awesome. So for the normal person, the normal Joe out there, when we start looking at all these standards from, EN 397, and we get into ARPD 10-02 and the ABCs and QRTs, they're like, I don't know what the standard is and what should I look at? So the first question I have for you is, can you explain some of the standards for blunt impact? And then maybe explain what they mean to us or what we should know about them.
The most important blunt impact standard to know is ARPD 10-02. This was published by the US Army in the purchase description of the advanced combat helmet in the early 2000s. It describes a blunt impact that is well established and makes sure that 7 locations on the helmet are tested. It does hot and cold an ambient, it does consecutive impacts to each location, and there's a minimum amount of helmets to test. So this is the gold standard that's been used by all reputable combat helmet companies for the past 10, 20 years. There's a similar spec published by NATO a few years ago, AEP 2902. Method H in that standard is essentially the same test. So that's what you really want if you're looking for a combat helmet. Team Wendy rigorously tests all of our helmets to that standard. Now, unfortunately, there's other standards out there that are not as robust and not as protective. One that we see, unfortunately, is EN 397 or ANSI Z89.1. Those are cherry-picked from industrial safety helmets, hard hats basically. They're designed for protection against an object falling on the crown of your head, which is fine in a construction site, but if you're in combat, you might be impacted to the front, side, or back of the helmet, which is not necessarily safe if you're only wearing a hard hat equivalent.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't walk out into a combat situation or a riot situation and like, time out, you can't throw it there, you gotta hit me here. That's just not reality. And so, as we say, we like to make sure that we create equipment that works in reality. And that happens because of understanding the standards and the protection factors. So if you were telling someone to make that very concise, if you said, hey, these are the couple standards you should look for in a helmet, what would you tell them, just to reiterate?
ARPD 1002, that's the US Advanced Combat Helmet, or NATO's standard AEP 2902 Method H.
So Bryan, you've been in Team Wendy for many, many years, and you've seen the past, you're involved in the present, and you're certainly going to be involved in the future. Can you just walk us through some of the things that you hope this industry will push to and things that you want to see as we develop the non-ballistic and the ballistic blunt force trauma protection?
Well, just like the ZORBIUM foam we use today came out of research and development, we are continuing to partner with universities, medical research, material science research to help understand what's the next improvement in protecting heads against traumatic brain injury. So we're looking very closely at rotational injury. It's a bit intuitive that if you have a snow globe and you'll move it side to side, things are more or less intact. But if you start putting rotation into the mix, all of a sudden stuff starts flying everywhere. There's a similar effect on your brain. The stress and strain caused by those rotations can be more damaging. That's what we're starting to learn from the research. So creating test procedures and products eventually that will reduce the rotational movement of the head is one area that we're looking at for improvement. We're also looking at ways to reduce the effects of blast and the propagation of blast waves through the head. And you may know that we launched our Rifle Tech helmet recently. So as the energy of impact increases, we want to make sure we're accounting for any through helmet injury and back face deformation and keeping that at a safe level. So we have research projects underway in all of those areas currently to make sure that we're at the forefront of the next innovations in TBI protection.
I love it, man. And first of all, thank you for being here, spend a little time with me. It's because of people like Bryan and so many more all across Team Wendy that truly care about what happens to you out on the battlefield, what happens to you in the mission field, what happens to you in the adventure field. All of these aspects is just a little bit about what Team Wendy is involved in. And it's because of people like Bryan Javorek that we give you the absolute best protection that we know how and in the industry. So again, thank you for being a part. I appreciate you always, my friend. And I thank you for watching. And as always, thank you for being a part of our team.